Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome everybody to my Asshole Podcast. It is Thursday. You know what we got for Thursday? We have our beautiful book as well as the thread for today. I think we'll be doing chapters 9 and 10 for King of Wrath. Excited to get into that. It seems like our heroine here, she is going through a bit of a battle with our boy. She's for some reason, I don't know what's going on. Like, I get it. It's an arranged marriage and she's not really about it, but she seemed like she's kind of about it. It's weird. It's a weird thing, but I'm excited to see where her and Victor's relationship go because I don't know. I'm weirdly intrigued with it. You know what I mean? From Lights Out to King of Wrath. I mean, we have two really good stories. And yeah, man, I'm excited to get into them. So without further ado, let's get into today's thread. Today's thread is, what is the most violent thing you ever did? All right, so let's see what violent and crazy shit y'all have ever done. All right, some crackhead tackled me in a mud puddle and tried drowning me, so I shoved my thumb as hard as I could in his eye. Yo, what the fuck? What happened? Did you not give him $1 or something? He was just like, hey, man, you got $1? And he's just like, nah, man, I ain't got no dollar. He's like, oh, come on, man, I knew you got $1. He's like, bro, I ain't got no dollar for you. Nigga tackled him. I was shoving my fucking thumb in his eye, too. Man. I beat that nigga's ass. I'm like, who do you think you are? Oh, crackhead boo-boo. Goddamn. What is the most violent thing that you ever did? Defended my friend when he got jumped. Hit someone over the head with a chair. Yo. I ain't gonna lie to you. Been there. So, me, I have a lot of, military friends. All right, a lot of friends of mine, they're in the military. Most of them are in the Marines. And so, they like to drink. They like to drink, and they like to get drunk. They do not have limitations on themselves like they really should. So, I remember one time we went out to a bar, right? Having a good time. We were drinking, doing our thing. And one of my boys, he was looking at this girl and she was looking back so much to where we were like, yeah, go get her, bro. Go get her. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because women always say like, oh, me staring at you, that's me making my move. So I'm like, hey, man, go over there and make your move. So he goes over there. He's talking to her, chatting her up, whatever the case may be. And then some dude comes out and we're like, what the fuck? And we're thinking like, all right, dude's a Marine. Like he can handle his own, whatever the case may be. Dude's literally like a hand-to-hand combat specialist. Dude's got this, if some shit pops off, he's got it. So we see our friend and the dude walk out of the bar, and then I go up and I talk to the girl. I'm like, hey, what the fuck happened over there? Like, what the hell? And she's like, oh, I guess my boyfriend got mad. I was like, yo, hold up, yo, boyfriend? Oh, shit.
She belongs to the street.
And so I go back to our table and I'm like, yo, hey, he's about to go fight homegirl's boyfriend. And so we go outside and we found out that they walked down the street and around the corner to a parking lot. And so we see them, and out of nowhere, it's not just the boyfriend, it's two other dudes. And we were like, oh, fuck no. And so they literally were jumping him, and then we jumped in and we were fighting them, and all kinds of crazy shit happened. And then the dude that was running the parking lot, he's the one that you pay to get the little ticket, so you put it in your window and shit. He's just he's like, I called the cops on you, stop fighting, I called the cops. And we're like, bro. So we're trying to pull our friend and shit. So I'm trying to pull him out from under the dude that's hitting him. And then our other friend, he was fucking punching on the other dude. And then one guy is like trying to get the dude off of our friend that I'm pulling and whatnot. And then the third guy that was like friends with the dude that our friend was fighting, homeboy was for some reason just kind of standing there and like filming shit. It was weird. I'm sure there's probably a video of this out on the internet somewhere, if I'm being honest with you. But I thought it was absolutely crazy. I was like, what the fuck is going on here, bro? And so, yeah, man. You know, we got him out of there, and I was just like, bro, what the hell? That was probably, like, I guess, the most violent thing I've ever done, because it wasn't even a thing where I was thinking. I just went in there and just hit homeboy, you know, and then our other two friends just kind of jumped. I mean, it was 4-on-3, so it was like, of course, we were going to win this to some degree, but the main dude that was the girl's boyfriend, he was a big guy. He was a big dude, and none of us was that big. I think our tallest friend was like 5'10", but he was like at least 6'3", 6'4". Dude was huge. He was a huge guy. So I could see why, even though our boy was a Marine, you know what I mean, combat, you know, close quarter combat specialist and everything, he was still kind of getting his ass beat because that was a big dude. And like, he's only like 5'8". So dude was a big dude. I was like, oh shit. All right. What's the most violent thing you've ever did? In high school, I swung over the top of a bus seat and broke a dude's nose because he was crushing up Smarties and blowing them at us. My boyfriend had an allergy to red dyes, and I didn't know if they contained them or not. I told him that. He did it twice more, at which point I told him if he does it again, I'm going to come over that seat. Well, he laughed and did it again, so I bopped his shit and then ran to the front of the bus crying, and I got suspended for a day and had to walk off in school suspension. My dad bought me a DQ Blizzard because he was glad that I was standing up for myself after previous years of being filled with getting bullied. Not anything crazy, but it's all I got. Hey, I wish a girl would knock a motherfucker out for me. Man, I'll be like, that is the one right there. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I'll be like, that's the one. That's a wifey right there. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Hey, to care about your man, your little boyfriend that much, bro? Yeah, 100%. I'd be in school talking about, yeah, I'm gonna marry that one. She straight beat that nigga ass for me. She did that for me. I love that woman. Man. All right, what's the most violent thing you ever did? Two guys jumped me. One of them hit the ground, and I 2-foot jumped his head. Thankfully, he was okay, and I regret it now. But in the moment, I felt that it was the right thing to do. If you're being attacked, you do whatever you can to make sure that you survive that encounter. That's how I've let myself live with it anyway. Hey, facts, bro. I look at it like if you're getting jumped, at that point, it's not a fair fight, bro. You know what I mean? And anything goes. Anything goes in that fight. I'm throwing dirt in your eye. I'm grabbing shit off the ground. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's sharp. I'll stab you. Like, bro, the moment there are two dudes versus me, oh, nah. Oh, nah. Gloves are off now. Like, if it's a one-on-one fight, I'll keep it pretty fair. You know what I mean? I'll keep it to just the fisticuffs and boxing. We straight. But if you want to pull some bullshit and have a homie come out of nowhere, nah, bro, I'm kicking, I'm stomping, I'm kicking nuts. I don't give a fuck, bro. I will give you the old dick twist. You know what I mean? Don't fuck with me. God damn. All right, what is the most violent thing you ever did? Had a drunk dude try to sexually assault me after the third time telling him no. No with aggression in my voice. He reached for my breast. Come on, man.
Bruh.
Oh, God. I put my hands out, quick step back, and with all my might, I kick him in the junk, knock the wind out of him, face turned all shades of red, and then he power puked. It was a crazy chain reaction. Yeah, bro. See, this right here is the reason why I say, you know, my girl, she can't go out to the club or the bar or nothing like that without me, or she can't go with her girlfriends. Because of this bullshit right here. You know what I mean? It's not me being insecure. It's not me, oh, you want to be controlling. Nah, bro. It's because I know how dudes are. And I know that dudes are fucking weird like this. And they do dumb shit like this. Instead, she says no 3 times. And he's just like, oh, yeah, that means you want me to grab your boobie. Like, bruh. No, man. Nah. Now, if I'm there with her, it's differently, because I look at it like, bro, your friends ain't gonna protect you. In this situation, I guarantee you she was out probably with some friends and they didn't protect her. You know what I mean? Because they look at it like, what are we gonna do? That's a dude. And so, you know what I mean? Like I said, this bullshit right here is the reason why I'm like, nah, my girl cannot go to the club or the bar with just her homegirls. Nah, I gotta be there or some shit, because I just know how dudes are. It's not her. It's the dudes. All right, what is the most violent thing you ever did? Was drunk and broke my hand breaking someone's jaw. He was a cunt, though. Hey, man, sometimes you gotta do it, bro. Sometimes you gotta do it. Some dudes, they just need to be punched in the face. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Some dudes just need to be fucking punched in the face. Like there's a lot of dudes out there who just got mouths on them and they just need to be socked in the face. That's really what it comes down to. Because what I've noticed, especially nowadays, is a lot of people are so used to talking shit and having this hubris because, a lot of what they do, they online troll and they talk shit behind a username and stuff like that. And they try to take that shit out into the real world. And then when you actually meet somebody who's about to knock your fucking lights out, then they start to realize, oh shit, my actions have a little bit of consequences. I better not, especially as a dude, because as a woman, you can kind of get away with this a little more, because, I don't condone hitting women or whatever. But as a dude, nah, man, you're going to get your lights knocked the fuck out, and you better be careful. Yeah, because, bro, you're gonna talk some shit to the wrong one day, and that man is going to knock you the fuck out. I'm straight. Hey, bro, you better... Yeah, hey, W on you, though. I mean, you don't have to break your hand, dude. Damn, you need to train a little more how to properly punch, but goddamn. All right, what is the most violent thing you ever did? When I was on a walk with my 4-year-old daughter, kicked the absolute crap out of a neighbor's aggressive dog who had gotten out of its fence and was charging her. I mean, if that hound had been a football, it would have sailed a good 30 yards through the uprights. She threatened to call the police, and I dared her to do it. Everybody in the neighborhood hated that dog. Bro, I can't stand people who have unmanaged fucking dogs. That shit pisses me off. It's like, bro, if you're gonna have an animal, know how to take care of it. Don't just let it do whatever the fuck it wants to do, and then you want to sit there and you want to blame people over your dog being aggressive and wanting to bite. Nah, bro. You're lucky he didn't shoot your dog. I'm being straight with you, because if that was me, yeah, I would have shot that dog. You're not about to fucking harm my kid in any way. No, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, nah, bro. Because that's a situation where if that dog would have got his daughter, it would have done a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Far more damage than him just kicking the dog. You know what I mean? Like, his daughter could have lost a limb, could have lost a finger. You know what I mean? It could have got her neck. And I'm telling you, bro. Hey, W dad, bro. W dad. All right. What is the most violent thing you've ever done? Farted in a lift full of people as I hopped off with the door closing behind me. Bro, you are a villain. Oh my, you're a villain, bro. Because there was accusations going on in that elevator. Oh my, I guarantee you, when you left, the moment somebody smelled that poop, they were just like, you stank ass bitch. And then I guarantee you the other person was just like, you stank ass nigga. Oh, I'm telling you, bro, there was accusations going on in that elevator. Oh, you're evil. You are evil. You know, you had just started an absolute war amongst these people. These people were just like, I fucking hate every one of you in this lift right now. And they were all thinking the same thing. Like, I fucking hate you. They all hated each other after that day. They got out of that elevator and they were like, you old stank ass bitch. You over here blew that fucking elevator up and didn't say nothing. Oh, bruh. That's crazy. My man out here making enemies. All right, what is the most violent thing you ever did? Someone pushed over my legally blind friend because she bumped into them by accident and made him spill his beer. So he decided to shove her to the ground. This was at Red Rocks too, so falling on those steps would have seriously injured her. I pick up the nearest item next to me, which happened to be someone's banana, and whipped it at the back of his head with full force. To my luck, it made direct contact. Probably couldn't do it again if I tried. The rage in his eyes still terrifies me, but we slipped away into the crowd quick and never saw us again. Damn. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you on that one. I would have took the L, bro. I mean, I'd have been pissed. Don't get me wrong. I'd have had some choice words, but I don't think I would have thrown a banana at him, because if he would have caught you, bro, he would have tried to beat your ass. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You know what I mean? He would have tried to beat your ass. That would have not gone over well. I'm just being honest. That would have not gone over well. But hey, you survived. That's the good part. You know what I mean? You survived. All right, what is the most violent thing you ever did? Punched a kid when I was in 6th grade for picking on me. Ended up giving the bastard a swollen lip for a few days. Hey, man. You know, I remember my first ever fight in school. I remember I was having a bad day. And, you know, I came to class and I was sad and upset and I had my head down or whatever. And there was this kid, he was just bothering me. You know what I mean? He was just bothering me, poking at me and shoving or whatever. And I'm in my seat and I'm like, bro, back the fuck up. And he just didn't get the memo. And so I like took a pencil and I like threw my arm back and it went right in his eye. And he was like, oh, and he told the teacher and all that kind of stuff. And then the teacher, you know, sent me to like the counselor or whatever. And was just like, oh, why did you stab the kid in the eye? And I was like, I fucking told him. I was like, back up and stop touching me. And so then I took my pencil and I threw, you know, I thought I was going to hit his chest or something. But I ended up hitting his eye. And then the kid had saw me and he gave me like the weakest punch to the jaw. And I was just like, are you done? You know what I mean? I was like, you done? Because, bro, I ain't trying to fight you. You know what I mean? It was weird because, like, it was a fight, but it wasn't a fight. You know what I mean? And so it was weird. Yeah, because I even told him, I was like, bro, I didn't mean to hit you in the eye. I thought I was going to, like, poke your chest or some shit. Like, I just wanted you to get away from me. And, you know, it was cool. He was understanding after that, and everything was pretty chill. But, you know, it was just one of those weird things where it was like, dude, you know, like, what the fuck, man? School tussles, you know. What is the most violent thing you've ever done? Hit someone in the mouth with the end of a broomstick, and he spat a lot of teeth out. Wasn't aiming for his face. He ducked into it. Felt bad, but it was a heavy situation with multiple people fighting at once. Was them or us? Hey, man, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, bruh. Like I said, when you're in that fight where it's unfair, man, hey, you got to, or if the dude's bigger than you, I guarantee this was a situation where the dude's probably bigger than him, and he was like, I ain't about to win this fight with just the fisticuffs. I got to hit him with something. You know what I mean? I got to hit that motherfucker with something, because if I don't, bruh, I am cooked. You know what I mean? He's like, I am cooked. I gotta hit this motherfucker with something. So, hey, bro, I understand it, man. I understand it. All right. This is going to be our last one for the thread, and then we will get into announcements, and then we'll get into our book. So, what is the most violent thing you've ever done? My sister's ex was abusing her. I told her he would. We knew him by reputation, but she wouldn't listen. Anyway, I got the call. He opened the door, so I swept his leg, stomped on his abdomen, and then his balls. I'm not stupid. I'm not leaving injuries that he can go to the police with. Silly fucker thought I'd go for his face. Yeah, facts, bro. See, I would be the same way. Like, if my sister was dating a piece of shit dude, yeah, I'd beat his bitch ass up too. Yeah, I mean, I'd beat his bitch ass up too. Even if my sister, like, was mad at me and, like, hated me or whatever, I'd be like, nah, bro, this was needed. This was needed. This motherfucker, he needed a little wake-up call. Because sometimes, bro, yeah, that's what they need, bro. That's what they need, because it's a thing where these guys, they feel so powerful because they're beating up on a girl. You know, yeah, they feel so powerful because they're beating up on somebody. And then when you beat their ass, you make them feel, you know, like pretty much, I don't want to say weak, but you make them feel, you just kind of emasculate them a little bit. Then they start to calm down a little bit. Like I was saying earlier in the show, some dudes, they just need to get punched in the face, bro. Some dudes just need to get punched in the face because they think that, you know, they're all high and mighty and tough and shit. Yeah, I mean, until a dude comes around and puts them in their place and knocks them the fuck out and like, hey, you need to chill out, motherfucker. You need to chill out or I'll make you chill out. You know what I mean? Hey, that should be happening, bro. Sometimes it's needed. Sometimes it's needed, bro. And me, a lot of times, I'm an advocate for more of diplomacy. You know, I look at it like a lot of situations you can talk them out, you know, but there are just some people that you just can't do that with. You know what I mean? There's just some people you just can't talk it out. You can't do it. And you gotta get in their face, man. You know what I mean? It's horrible to say, but it is the truth. All right, but that's going to go ahead and be today's thread. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about the thread. If you have a situation or a violent moment in your life, whether it was your first fight or, you know, you beat somebody up or somebody beat you up, well, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, all right? So let's get on into Patreon, not Patreon, I'm sorry. Let's get on into announcements. So patreon.com/MyLayAsshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. All right, I hope that you guys enjoyed the way we did last Sunday's episode, where we did scenarios and then we did the book. I'm going to start doing that since we're doing the book on Sundays. So I won't do any threads on Sunday. That way, you Patreon guys, I have a fuck ton of you guys' scenarios backlogged and stuff. So I feel bad that when you Patreon guys send in your scenario, you don't get, you know, them heard on Sundays. So I decided, scrapping the thread, we'll go ahead and just do scenarios, and then we'll do the book for Sunday episodes until Lights Out is done, and that's just kind of how we'll do it. So, but Patreon members, if you are on a 7-day free trial, or if you are on if you're a fully paid member, you can now listen to Patreon episodes on Spotify. That is a wonderful thing. All right, down in the description, I have a link. It says Patreon Spotify link or Spotify Patreon link. You click that link and all of the Patreon episodes are there on Spotify, ready for you guys to consume and check out, okay? Which is super awesome. I love that. I really do. So definitely get on in there. Check that out. If Patreon has been something that you've been kind of on the fence about and you're like, I don't really want to have to go on to Patreon in order to check out the episodes, or I only really listen to the podcast when I'm at work, or I only listen to podcasts when I'm driving, shit like that, you can join the Patreon and get the exclusive content and listen to it on Spotify. So yeah, definitely go over there. Check all that out. And yeah, super exciting. Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all of the support. Appreciate you guys so much for all the downloads, as well as rating 5 stars on your preferred platform. Appreciate you guys so very much. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as subscribing on YouTube. It helps out a lot. And if you enjoy live streams, we do go live every Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Okay? Friday, Sunday, and Monday, we go live on TikTok. We go live on YouTube. We go live on Twitch. We go live on Kick. We're live on YouTube Shorts. Anywhere we can go live, we're pretty much live, baby. All right? So Love you guys so much. Appreciate all that. Let's get right on into our book for today. I know you guys are as excited as I am. Okay.
Chapter 9. Vivian. The flea market was alive with the sounds of haggling and the faint honks of cabs from the neighboring streets. The scent of churros swirled through the air, and everywhere I looked, I saw an explosion of different colors, textures, and fabrics. I'd been visiting the same market every Saturday for years. It was a treasure trove of inspiration and one-of-a-kind items I couldn't find in the carefully curated luxury stores, and it never failed to pull me out of a creative rut. It was also my favorite place to visit when I needed to clear my head. Today, however, it did neither of those things. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake the memory of Dante's mouth on mine. The firmness of his lips, the heat of his body, the subtle, expensive scent of his cologne, and the self-assured weight of his hands on my hips. Days later, I could still feel the vividness of the moment as clearly as if it had just happened. It was infuriating. Almost as infuriating as how I'd opened up to him over breakfast, only for him to revert to asshole status after a brief, shocking display of humanity. There'd been a moment when I'd liked Dante, though that might have been my loneliness talking. Contrary to what I'd told him at the photo shoot, there was something unsettling about coming home every day to a silent, spotless house. Our month apart had eased the sting of his words before he left for Europe, and I hadn't realized how much Dante's presence electrified the space until he was gone. "We've been to this stall already," Isabella said. I toyed with the fringe on a purple-patterned scarf. "This stall? We've been here already," she repeated. "You bought the pashmina?" I blinked as the rest of the stall's contents came into sharp focus. She was right. It was one of the first vendors we'd visited when we arrived. "Sorry." I released the scarf with a sigh. "I'm a bit out of it today. I'm too busy thinking about my jerk fiancé." "Really? I couldn't tell." Isabella's teasing smile faded when I didn't return it. "What's wrong? You normally blitz through this place like hellhounds are chasing us." Isabella loved thrifting and joined my Saturday excursions whenever she could. I'd tried to convince Sloane to come once, but the chances of her stepping foot in a flea market were slimmer than a Jimmy Choo stiletto heel. I just have a lot on my mind. I wanted to tell Isabella about the photo shoot, but there was nothing to tell. Dante and I had touched lips for 30 seconds for a photo. Anything beyond that was hormones and my dry spell talking. Besides, I wasn't lying. Between my job, my fraught relationship with Dante, my new social obligations as the future Mrs. Russo, and my miles-long to-do list for the wedding, I was running on fumes. "We're almost done," I added. "I just need to find a gold mirror for Buffy Darlington's granddaughter's Sweet 16. "I can't believe we live in a world where there are people named Buffy Darlington." Isabella shuddered. Her parents must have hated her. "Buffy Darlington III, to be exact. It's a family name." "That's even worse." I laughed. Well, name aside, Buffy is the grande dame of New York society and the head of the Legacy Ball Committee. I have to impress her, or I can kiss my business goodbye. The Legacy Ball was the most exclusive event on the international circuit. It rotated locations every year, and the upcoming ball in May happened to take place right here in New York. Hosting it was considered a huge honor. I'd hoped for a shot at the position, but it had gone to the wife of a hedge fund tycoon instead. "Speaking of high society, how's your new job?" I asked. Isabella quit the dive bar last week after landing a highly coveted job at the Valhalla Club, a members-only society for the world's wealthiest and most powerful. My father had been trying to gain admission for years, but the Boston chapter was closed to new applicants, and our family wasn't connected enough to slip through the back door. Isabella's face lit up. "It's amazing! Higher pay, better benefits, and fewer hours than anything else I'd find in the city. It beats bartending with creepy Colin breathing all over me by a mile. Maybe I'll actually have time to finish my book. She trailed off as she stared over my shoulder. Viv? I spotted a gold mirror on a nearby table. Buffy's granddaughter's party was Beauty and the Beast themed, and while I'd finalized the decor already, I wanted a unique piece to tie everything together. You might want to look behind you. A strange note dampened her voice. Curiosity kindled as I turned to see what Isabella was staring at. Not much rattled her. At first, all I saw were passers-by holding churros and vendors hawking their wares. Then I noticed the person standing behind us. Sandy blonde hair, blue eyes, a once lanky frame that had filled out with muscle over the years. My shopping bags thudded to the ground as shock displaced the air in my lungs. Heath.
I'm sorry for ambushing you. I was passing by and I remembered you loved coming here every Saturday.
Heath let out a small laugh.
I guess you still do.
I returned his smile with a wary one of my own. Old habits die hard. After I'd gotten over my shock and Isabella had excused herself to nap and write, Heath and I had left the market to grab coffee at a tiny outdoor cafe down the street. There were no other customers, so it was just us talking over cappuccinos like 2 years hadn't passed since we last saw each other. It was surreal. Are you here on vacation? I asked. Heath had randomly sent me a photo of the pumpkin hot chocolate at Bonnie Sue's the other day, so I knew he was in town. It was the first text he'd sent since I told him I was engaged. He hadn't mentioned the engagement, and I hadn't made plans to see him.
Work. I have a meeting with investors on Monday and figured I'd fly in early to enjoy the city. It's been a while.
He rubbed a hand over the back of his neck.
I would have called you, but...
You don't have to explain. Today was an anomaly. We normally didn't tell each other when we were in town or catch up over drinks. We didn't have that type of relationship anymore.
Right.
Heath cleared his throat.
You look good, Viv. Really good.
My face softened. So do you. The Heath I'd dated had been a poster boy for New England prep. The one sitting in front of me looked like he belonged on the poster for a California Surfer movie. Tanner, healthier, more muscled. I'd often wondered what would happen if I ran into Heath again. I'd expected to feel sadness, regret, and maybe longing. We'd been friends and dated for years. Feelings didn't disappear just because people parted ways. They did, however, dull with time, because all I felt right now was the cold breeze on my skin and a strange unease in the pit of my stomach. How's the IPO prep going? I asked for lack of anything better to say. We used to talk about everything under the sun. Now we were more hesitant than strangers forced to share a table at an overly crowded restaurant.
It's great. Stressful, but we're making good progress.
Company IPOs, or initial public offerings, required extensive preparation. So Heath was probably getting only a few hours of sleep a night until his was done.
How's event planning?
Good. I hired someone to run our social media a few months ago, so we're up to a team of 4.
Good.
We had to stop using the word good. The uncomfortable silence expanded. Heath and I stared awkwardly at each other for another minute before his gaze dropped to my engagement ring. A storm of emotions clouded his eyes, and I resisted the urge to pull my hand off the table and into my lap.
You weren't joking about the engagement.
A pang hit my chest at his first direct acknowledgement of my new relationship status. I wouldn't joke about something like that, I said softly.
I know, I just thought...
He tipped his head back and blew out a long breath.
When's the wedding?
Next year. Early August. I rubbed a nervous thumb over my ring. It was cold and hard to the touch.
At the Russo's estate in Lake Como?
He must have looked up the news after I told him. Yes.
You and Dante Russo. Your parents must be thrilled.
Heath met my eyes again with a sardonic smile.
What's he worth, like $1 billion?
2. Something like that.
How'd you two meet?
At an event, I replied vaguely. I didn't want to lie to Heath, but I didn't want to tell him it was an arranged marriage either. My parents' approval was a sore subject for both of us. Unfortunately, he knew me well enough to pick up on the nuances of my non-answer. His eyes narrowed. The unease in my stomach swirled faster as realization dawned slow and horrified across his face.
Wait, are you marrying him because you want to or because your parents want you to?
I shifted in my seat, suddenly wishing I'd skipped the market today. I didn't answer, but my silence told him all he needed to know.
Damn it, Viv.
Frustration seeped into his voice.
I knew you'd never willingly choose someone like Dante. I looked him up after your text. All those rumors about him and what he's like. No amount of money in the world is worth it. What the hell were your parents thinking, besides the fact he's a billionaire?
An uncharacteristically bitter edge poisoned his words. He's not that bad, I said, strangely defensive of Dante even though he'd been a jerk during 90% of our interactions. But the kiss, the breakfast, the story of the Moondust Diner. They were small things in the grand scheme of our relationship, but they gave me hope. Dante Russo had a human side. He just didn't show it often.
That's what he wants you to think. Even if he isn't as bad as the rumors say, do you want to be married to someone who's already married to his work?
My mind flashed to Dante's month-long trip to Europe. I rubbed my ring again, my insides twisted with frustration. I felt like a bird trapped in a cage of circumstances beyond my control, unable to do anything except sing and look pretty. Heath leaned forward, his expression intense.
You don't have to marry him, Viv.
Heath.
I mean it.
The fierceness of his tone startled me.
You've always done what your parents told you to do, but this isn't about a job or where you go to college. This is about the rest of your life. You're not a teenager anymore, and you have your own money. You can push back.
We'd had this conversation before, and it ended the same way every time. It's not about pushing back, I said. They're my family, Heath. I can't turn my back on them. His laugh lacked humor.
I should have known you were going to say that.
He leaned back, his gaze heavy on mine.
I haven't dated anyone since we broke up, you know. Not seriously. My longest relationship after you lasted a month.
Another pang worked its way through my chest at his low confession. Neither have I said quietly. But I'm engaged now, and this conversation is inappropriate. I didn't like Dante, but I would never cheat on him or disrespect the implicit promise I'd made when I accepted his ring. Heath painted a tempting picture of a world where I was free to do as I pleased, but that was all it was. A picture. Fantasy, not reality. In the real world, I had duties and obligations to fulfill. No matter how rude or overbearing Dante was, I had to make my engagement work, one way or another. There was no other option. You should go, I said. I'm sure you have a lot to do before your Monday meeting. Heath stared at me for a second before he shook his head.
Right.
He pushed his chair back and stood. His bitter expression returned, but his voice was soft as he left.
It was good seeing you, Viv. If you ever change your mind, you know where to find me.
I watched him walk away, my heart heavy and my thoughts running in a dozen different directions. So much had happened in the past week, it felt like a fever dream. Dante returning from Europe. Our kiss and first real conversation together. Heath showing up out of the blue and asking me to break my engagement. Dante and I hadn't discussed our dating history. But what would he say if he found out what happened with Heath today? No matter his feelings toward me, he didn't strike me as the type of man who'd respond well to other people interfering in his relationships. His security team once hospitalized someone who tried to break into his house. The guy wound up in a months-long coma with broken ribs and a shattered kneecap. Sloane's voice echoed in my head, followed by an image of cold dark eyes and calloused hands. A shiver skated down my spine. I was suddenly glad Dante didn't take any interest in my comings and goings. If he did, I had a strong feeling Heath might not make it to see his company's IPO.
Chapter 10. Dante. Another one bites the dust. Something must be in the water with the way everyone around me is suddenly getting hitched. Christian drawled. How are things with your blushing bride? Blissful, I hope. Cut the crap, Harper, or I'll throw you out myself, I growled. My engagement party was insufferable enough without dealing with him. I was still unsettled from my kiss with Vivian last week, and now I had to make small talk with a bunch of people I didn't particularly care for. A wicked smile slashed across Christian's face. Not blissful, then. In the 14 years I'd known Christian Harper, not a single one had passed without him inciting me to near murder. It was almost impressive on his part. Instead of strangling him like I wanted, I smoothed the casual hand over my tie. Compared to your pining, it's fucking paradise. His eyes narrowed. I don't pine. No, you simply slash the rent for everyone who wants to live in your building for no good reason. He wasn't the only one who kept tabs on the people in his circle. As a computer genius, owner of a luxury building in D.C., and the CEO of Harper Security, an elite private security firm, Christian had eyes and ears everywhere. He knew about Francis's blackmail. Hell, he was the one I'd tasked with tracking down and destroying the evidence. He was also an asshole who got off on seeing how far he could push people. Some pushed back, most didn't. Unfortunately for him, I was one of the few who called him out on his bullshit without hesitation. I'm not here to discuss my business decisions with you, he said coldly. If anything could rile up the normally composed Christian, it was the mention, however indirect, of a certain tenant in his building. I'm here to celebrate this exciting new chapter of your life. He lifted his glass. A toast to you and Vivian. May you have a long, happy life together. Fuck off. The bastard laughed in response, but the mention of Vivian unwittingly brought my eyes to where she stood chatting with an elegant older couple. She'd been the consummate hostess all day, mingling and charming the guests until I couldn't take 2 steps without someone gushing to me about how lovely she was. It was galling. My eyes lingered on the sweep of hair cascading over her shoulder and the swirl of silk around her knees. Her parents were here, but she wasn't wearing tweed, thank God. Instead, she wore an ivory dress that flowed over her curves and made my pulse pound. Short sleeves, modest neck, elegant cut. The dress wasn't racy by any means, but the way she glowed in it, the way her skin looked smoother than the silk, and the way the skirt ruffled in the breeze, made my blood burn a little hotter. Vivian laughed at something the couple said. Her whole face lit up, and I realized I'd never seen her genuine, unguarded smile before. No sarcasm or prim facade, just sparkling eyes, rosy cheeks, and an airy lightness that transformed her from beautiful to stunning. Awareness kindled in my chest, hot and unwanted. Should I come back after you're finished ogling her? Christian swirled the ice in his glass. I don't want to intrude on a private moment. I'm not ogling her. I dragged my eyes away from Vivian, but her presence remained a tangible heat on my skin. I tried to shake it off to no avail. Enough bullshit, give me an update on the project. He sobered. Business operations are going as planned. The other situation is progressing, but not as quickly as we'd hoped. The pieces were falling in place for Francis's business takedown, but we were still stalled on the evidence front. Damn it. Just get it done before the wedding. Keep me updated. I always do. The amused glint in Christian's eyes returned when he looked over my shoulder. Incoming. I sensed her before I saw her. The sound of her heels, the smell of her perfume, the soft rustle of fabric against skin. I drained my drink in one long pull as Vivian came up beside me.
Apologies for interrupting.
She touched my arm and smiled at Christian, playing the role of apologetic fiancé perfectly. My skin tingled beneath her hand, and I almost shook her off before I remembered where we were. Engagement party, loving couple, pretend.
I need to steal Dante for a moment. Montevi would like a photo for their wedding feature.
Of course, Christian drawled. Have fun. One day I'd pay him back for all the crap he gave me about Vivian. I followed her to the photo setup, where Francis waited with Cecilia, Vivian's sister Agnes, and Agnes's husband. My brother stood off to the side, his eyes glued to his phone while the photographer fiddled with his camera. Something dangerous uncoiled in my chest. I'd avoided Francis all day. He didn't deserve my attention in public, which would only elevate his status, and I didn't need more temptation to commit murder. Apparently my run had come to an end. You didn't tell me this was a family photo. The word family came out with an acerbic bite.
I didn't realize it mattered.
Vivian slid a sideways glance at me.
I asked Montevi to wait until everyone was together, but they specifically wanted a photo from the party. However, they agreed to take another one with your parents whenever they're stateside.
I almost laughed at the insinuation. I was upset over my parents' absence. I couldn't remember the last time Giovanni and Janice Russo showed up for one of their kids' milestones. I'll survive without a photo of our big, happy family, I said, my tone dry. I took my place in front of the camera as far away from Francis as possible. When the photographer gave us the go-ahead, I wrapped my arm around Vivian's waist and forced a tight smile. God, I hated photo shoots. Luckily, this one didn't require a kiss, and we got the shot in less than 5 minutes. Vivian's friends pulled her away after for some reason or other, while Luca turned to me. Hey, I just wanted to say congratulations on the engagement. My glare could have set the room on fire. He held up his hands. Whoa, I'm trying to play nice, okay? He lowered his hands and glanced around the room before facing me again. Guilt slashed across his expression. I'm sorry this fell on you. His voice was barely audible over the other guests' chatter, but it cut straight into my chest. It is what it is. I was used to cleaning up after my brother. Hell, considering some of his past choices, I should be glad he hadn't joined the Mafia. Things were shit, but they could always be worse. Luca wiped a hand over his face. I know, but Fuck, I know you never wanted to get married. This is a big deal, Dante. And I know you're working on finding... Luca. His name was a warning. Not now. Christian was discreet. My brother wasn't. I didn't want anyone overhearing us at my own damn party. Right, well, I just wanted to apologize, and thank you. His expression turned embarrassed. I know I don't say this often, but you're a good brother. You always have been. Tightness crowded my chest before I acknowledged his statement with a curt nod. Go enjoy the party. I'll see you at dinner next week. I wanted to see how things were going at Lohman & Sons and make sure he was staying away from Maria. Despite his seeming remorse, I didn't trust him enough to go long periods without checking in on him. After Luca left, I made my way to the bar only to get stopped by Francis, who'd been busy talking to Kai until now. Excellent turnout, he said as Kai shot me an indecipherable glance before slipping away. It looks like the entire East Coast Valhalla membership is here. I paused then. You have quite a presence in the club, don't you? I regarded him coolly, the tightness from my conversation with Luca sinking beneath a well of distaste. My great-grandfather had been one of the club's 12 founding members. If I nominated someone for admission, they were guaranteed a spot, provided they met the basic eligibility criteria. Not any more or less than other members, I said. Right. Francis's smile came alive like a shark sensing blood in the water. I hear there will be an opening in the Boston chapter soon. Some nasty business with Peltzer's bankruptcy. Ironic he should sound so gleeful about it when he would be in the same boat as Peltzer soon. I couldn't fucking wait. Until then. So I heard. I tilted my head. You were denied the last time you applied, no? Perhaps you'll have better luck this time. Francis's face darkened before relaxing into another smile. I'm sure I will with your support. We're practically family now, and family helps each other out, don't they? He cast a meaningful look in Luca's direction. Rage clamped my jaw tight at his obvious threat. Legacy Valhalla members were granted 5 nominations in their lifetime. I'd already used 2, one for Christian, one for Dominic. I would rather cut off my dick than waste a third on Francis. I don't have much insight into the Boston chapter. It was only half a lie. I had connections there, but each chapter acted fairly independently in accordance with the local culture, politics, and traditions. Valhalla's membership committee is diligent in its selection process. If someone is worthy of being admitted, they'll be admitted. Red splashed across Francis's cheeks at my subtle dig. While I'm all for helping family, my smile hardened into a warning. They should know better than to push too hard. It never turns out well for the parties involved. Francis had enough balls to blackmail me, but not enough to pretend he owned me. He was testing my breaking point to see how far he could take things. Little did he know, he'd crossed it the minute he walked into my office and put those photos on my desk. Before he could respond, Vivian returned, her cheeks noticeably more flushed than before. I wondered how many drinks she'd had with her friends.
What did I miss?
She asked. Your father and I were just discussing wedding logistics. I didn't take my eyes off Francis. Isn't that right? Resentment filled his eyes, but he didn't dispute my account. Right. Vivian's eyes roved between us. She must have picked up on the underlying hostility because she quickly nudged her father toward Maud Devi's lifestyle columnist before pulling me aside.
I don't know what you were really talking about, but you shouldn't provoke my father,
she said.
It's like provoking a wounded tiger.
A wisp of amusement cooled my anger. I'm not scared of your father, Miyagata. If he doesn't like what I say, he can take it up with me himself.
Don't call me that, Miyakata,
she clarified.
It's insulting.
I notched an eyebrow. How so?
You don't mean it.
People say things they don't mean all the time. I nodded at a silver-haired guest standing by the bar. For example, your riveting conversation with Thomas Dreyer earlier. Don't tell me you were actually interested in the minutiae of tax write-offs.
How did you hear? Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Vivian shook her head.
Look, I know this is business to you. You're not high on my dream list of people to marry either, but it doesn't change the fact we have to live with each other. We should at least try and make the most of the situation.
What the fuck? A rush of irritation ran down my spine. Who exactly is on your dream list of people to marry?
Seriously?
Exasperation bled into her voice.
That's your takeaway from what I just said?
How long is the list? It didn't matter that I was forced into the engagement. My fiancée shouldn't have a list of other men she'd rather marry. Period.
It doesn't matter.
It sure as hell does.
I don't...
Vivian's sentence cut off when a drunken guest passed by and accidentally knocked into her. She stumbled and my hand instinctively shot out before she crashed into a nearby table of champagne. We both froze, our eyes locked on where our bodies touched. The surrounding noise dulled into a muted roar, overpowered by the heavy thuds of my heartbeat and the sudden hum of electricity in the air. Even in heels, Vivian stood a full 6 inches shorter than me, and I could see the downward sweep of her lashes as her gaze honed in on where my fingers encircled her wrist. It was so delicate I could have snapped it without trying. Her pulse quickened, tempting me to prolong my hold before I came to my senses and dropped her hand like it was a hot coal. The spell splintered at the loss of contact, and the sounds from the rest of the party burst through the cracks until it shattered into nothing. Vivian pulled back and rubbed her wrist, her cheeks pink.
What I was trying to say before we got off track is we should attempt to get along.
She said breathlessly.
Get to know each other. Maybe go on a date or two.
Some of the earlier tension dissipated. Are you asking me out, Miyakata? A smile touched my lips at her glare.
I told you to stop calling me that.
Yes, you did. I was going to call her Miyakata every chance I got. Vivian closed her eyes and looked like she was praying for patience before she opened them again a few seconds later.
Fine, let's compromise. You can call me Miyakata, sparingly, if you agree to the truce.
I wasn't aware we were at war. I drawled. I rubbed a thumb over my bottom lip, contemplating her offer. Originally, I'd planned on ignoring Vivian until I ended the engagement, out of sight, out of mind. But her little flashes of defiance intrigued me, as did the insight she inadvertently shared about her family. Perhaps keeping her at arm's length was the wrong strategy. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I made my final decision in a split second. It's a deal. I held out my hand. Vivian eyed it with a flicker of surprise, then wariness, before she took it. Her breath escaped in a small gasp when I grasped her tighter and pulled her to me. I have to keep up appearances, I murmured. I inclined my head to our right, where at least a dozen guests were sneaking peeks at us. My inbox had exploded after news of my engagement broke. No one believed I was engaged until they saw it with their own eyes, and I bet dozens of candid shots of me and Vivian would hit the internet later that night, if they haven't already. I trailed my free hand up her spine and curled it around the back of her neck before I lowered my mouth to her ear. Welcome to the truce, Miyakata. My breath fanned across her cheek. She stiffened, her own breaths taking on an uneven rhythm. I smiled. This was going to be fun.
All right. And that has been King of Wrath. Woo! Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know what you think about the thread as well as the chapters we've gone over today. Hope you guys are enjoying the books that we're going over right now. And yeah, man, I will see you guys. If you're on Patreon, I'll see you tomorrow. And if not, I'll either see you on streams over the weekend or on Tuesday. All right, love you guys all, and peace.